Revolution Pro Wrestling marched into 2026 with Live in London 103 from Porchester Hall this past Sunday. 2 championships on the line to kick off the new year as we are now well and truly on the road to Wembley. First through the curtain to start the new year, a man who had not been seen in RevPro for around 2.5 years, Harrison Bennett, making his return to face off against Leighton Buzzard, who after his unsatisfactory end to 2025 wanted to turn his fortunes around to start 2026. Unfortunately though, some unfinished business from the end of last year was what cost Buzzard the match in the end. Will Caven, the man who cheated to defeat Buzzard a week earlier in Southampton, coming to the ring to distract him, and it was just seconds after that distraction that Bennett hit the baseline to secure the 1-2-3 and to further frustrate Buzzard, who for the second consecutive week chased Caven back to the locker room area. Next up, a rematch from Live in Lyon this past October when Curo and Leon Cage had a controversial end to their match, Cage winning via a 3 count that some people thought should have only been counted as a 2. So a chance here to settle that dispute, and one hell of a match between Mr. Hype and the Futurist. Curo hitting the All of the Lights and then the Star Platinum to defeat Leon Cage. Curo making a statement to begin his year here in RevPro. Next, a debut for one of the UK's most exciting young talents, Melissa Fierce, competing in a RevPro ring for the first time against Alexis Falcon, the Wicked Witch of British wrestling, just as unpleasant as she has ever been, and just as willing to break the rules as well. Fierce coming close to beating Falcon, but Falcon using the ropes to gain extra leverage and to secure the 1-2-3. Having had 2 months away and without Liam Slater in attendance, it seemed that Lyos Gym were very much back on the same page, and as a result, we saw one hell of a tag team match between them and the undisputed British Tag Team Champions. The titles were not on the line, and for the champions, that turned out to be a good thing because we saw the rarest of things after a double brainbuster by Lyos Gym, a rare pinfall defeat for the Young Guns, and Lyos Gym stating their case very clearly for a rematch with the champions, this time perhaps with the titles on the line. It had been a painful festive season for Shah Samuels, losing the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship, but then Samuels switched gears and said at this point in his career he wants the kind of matches he can enjoy against opponents who he feels like he can benefit by facing, and one such opponent is a man to whom he's been something of a mentor, Nino Bryant. And so we saw it, a fascinating encounter between teacher and student, Samuels and Bryant, a match that ultimately will be remembered for providing evidence of just how far Nino Bryant has come, because after a pair of Bryant splashes, Nino secured the win over Samuels. But this week in defeat, rather than looking frustrated, Samuels seemed to have an air of resignation, and after the match he whispered something to Bryant before removing some of his ring gear, leaving it in the center of the ring, shaking hands with us on commentary as if to say goodbye. All of which begs the question, what does the future hold for Shah Samuels? Next up, another newcomer looking to make her mark, JGU, with just her second match in RevPro and her first on British soil. Having impressed Live in Lyon in the autumn, JGU took on Kangji in London. And what a match it was, one of the most hard-hitting physical contests that Kangji has ever had to face here in RevPro. But as we know, Kangji has made winning a habit. Kangji secured the tap-out win from JGU. There was a show of respect between the two women afterwards, but that show of respect was interrupted by Alexis Falcon, who returned to the ring.
You sat there in the audience like a fan watching your best friend Mercedes Monet get fucked by Alex Windsor.
Kangji understandably lost her cool. JGU got involved as well. Both women had to be separated from Alexis Falcon. And I said that Falcon had proved again her unpleasant nature earlier in the night. That was even more so the case here after what was, quite honestly, a disgusting verbal tirade in the direction of Kangji. So then to the business end of the evening and 2 championship matches to round off Live in London 103, beginning with the undisputed British Cruiserweight title on the line as tag team partners from CPF collided. Joe Lando defending that Cruiserweight championship against Danny Black as resentment had simmered between these two men who normally are closer than brothers. The tension was undeniable. Perhaps though, this match could fix it. It was a match between two men who clearly know know each other as well as they know themselves. A game of one-upmanship that was fascinating from the opening bell to the last. But when the smoke cleared, it was Lando who came out on top. The JJ elbow securing him the pinfall and prolonging his reign as the undisputed British Cruiserweight champion. Lando offered his hand to Black after the match. It looked like Black was not going to accept. He tried to walk away, but then fellow CPF member Maverick Mayhew appeared on the stage to change his mind. And whatever Mayhew said to Black, it worked. Black returned to the ring, embraced Joe Lando, and the smiles on the faces of CPF were restored for the first time in weeks.
Slam! And will tonight, hang on a minute, Michael Oku's got his back turned. It's Sky Smithson!
Sky Smithson attacking Amir!
And she said it wasn't over between her and Mira last week.
Some of our ring crew just restraining Sky Smithson.
And look, Amira now on Sky Smithson. Amira and Smithson here. Talk about being a sore loser. Sky Smithson was defeated by Amira last week in Southampton. I thought she reacted quite calmly, but obviously she was plotting and waiting for this moment.
And so to our main event. Live in London came just 3 weeks after Jay Joshua won the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship at Uprising, immediately after which Michael Oku had challenged Joshua already proving to be a fighting champion, and Oku found himself with the opportunity to earn a historic third reign with the championship. Back and forth between Joshua and Oku until the closing moments that will be talked about for a long time, but for all the wrong reasons. Oku had locked in a variation of the half crab on Joshua, and Oku's music started playing around Porchester Hall, suggesting to everyone in attendance that Joshua had tapped out and that Oku had regained the title. Except that moments later, it became apparent that that was not the case. Referee Oscar Harding telling Oku that he had not called for the bell, and as fans looked over to the sound desk, the reality became clear. Connor Mills had interfered with the desk, started Oku's music playing, and falsely led Oku to believe that he'd won the match. Amidst the confusion, Joshua hit Oku with a flying headbutt. Oku still tried to fight back, but it was to no avail. Joshua dumping Oku on his head, pinning the master of the half crab, and holding on to the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship in the most contentious circumstances imaginable. Connor Mills, the longtime rival of Michael Oku, the tag team partner of Jay Joshua, proving to be the difference in our first main event of the year. But what will that mean as RevPro's busy January rolls on? We will find out this coming Sunday, January 11th, when we are live in Sheffield. We hope to see you there. In the meantime, I've been Dave Bradshaw, and this has been your RevPro Recap.